What's up? My name is Brandon. I go by Crossmiter all over the internet, and today I'm going to show you guys around my shop. I have a 1.5 car garage that I converted into a workshop, and it's kind of stuffed to the gills full of equipment, so let me show you guys around. Perfect. Now, when you first walk into my shop, the first thing you're going to see is my sawstop table saw. This is a 5 horsepower industrial saw. I recently upgraded from the contractor saw. You know, power is everything when you're woodworking. I build a lot of large pieces of furniture. I typically build dining tables, kitchen islands, and things like that. And what I found that the 1.5 horsepower of the contractor saw just started to bog down when I was doing, you know, thick, dense material. Man, buy once, cry once. I had to buy twice. Should have listened to myself. This saw is incredible. The slider on it is amazing. I've heard people kind of complain about using the slider on a sawstop saw. And let me tell you, now that I have one, I will never use a table saw that doesn't have a slider. Let me know if you want to see a full video on the upgrade of the table saw or any of the other equipment that I show you guys. I have that footage, so I'll gladly show it to you guys if you want it. The sawstop is also on wheels so that when I need to, I can rotate it 90 degrees to get more in and out feed this way, but it just takes up more space. So this is the ideal layout for the way my shop is typically configured. Over here, you'll see I have a panto router. I keep most of the accessories for the tools that I'm using typically within arm's reach of that tool. So the accessories for the table saw are right across from the table saw, all the spare cartridges, things like that. My wood storage is on this wall. So you'll notice that my moisture meters and things that I need for the lumber itself is right here also. The most impressive piece of equipment in my shop is definitely my Handheld CNC. Up here, you'll see I have an air weights vacuum hold down table. The CNC itself is 2 feet by 6 feet. I want it to be 2 feet by 8 feet. And as soon as I figure out how to fit that amount of space within my shop, I definitely will upgrade it. This used to be 2 feet by 4 feet, but I expanded it. That's one of the benefits of having an Handheld CNC is like it grows with you. The air weights vacuum hold down is by far the best addition you can make if you have a CNC within your shop. Being able to just have a piece of material and, you know, click one button and have it suction to the table. Ugh. Amazing. It's so good. Underneath my CNC, I have an X-Tool S1 laser cutter, and I use it for when I'm customizing stuff. Usually stuff that comes off the CNC is what I'm lasering, so that's why I have these kind of tied together. If I had more space, I would probably have this on a stand somewhere. It is a little annoying to have to bend down to use my laser cutter, but we make do, right? We use what we got. Over here, I have my jointer planer. It is a 16-inch jointer planer, meaning it can joint and plane 16-inch boards. It's a combo machine, so it can switch from jointer mode to planer mode with a simple flip. And this thing is a beast. It has helical head cutters. It's dialed in, so it's perfectly level, so I don't really get any snipe. All my boards come out nice and flat. A good jointer makes all the difference in your shop. If not this one, you should definitely consider investing in like a good quality jointer. Let me show you guys right behind the jointer. Follow me. So also from CWI, I have their 3 horsepower dust collector. I used to use one of those little Shop Fox dust collectors that everyone uses. It's the same as the Harbor Freight and the Grizzly. And that thing got by for a while. But once you start having like real dust collection, you run into problems where you notice like the intake is getting clogged, the bag fills up super quickly. This thing has a huge drum, so I'm not emptying it out every couple hours. And the HEPA filter on it is amazing, and all I gotta do is, you know, twist the knob to clear it out and be able to get right back to work. I guess while we're on the topic of dust collection and material from CWI, behind this "Did you make something today" sign, I have their Dust Effects air filter, and that's the air filtration system to keep all the fine particles out of the shop. Now, this thing is in a less than ideal space, but it's in the only space that I could really fit it within my shop because unfortunately my ceilings are only 7.5 feet high. So I don't even have 8-foot ceilings. I can't even fit a full sheet of plywood up within my shop. And it drives me crazy every single time. This here sign was made by a friend of mine, Daniela Gray Elephant Goods. She's amazing. You should check her out. Do it. My 3D printer that I use within my shop is a Bamboo Labs P1S. They have a new machine out that's been looking pretty interesting to me, but this thing already accomplishes all of the needs that I have within my shop. But, you know, the perpetual upgrade cycle, you always want the newest and most seductive piece of equipment within your shop, and I'm no different. So I might keep this, I might upgrade it. We'll see. Bamboo, if you're watching, maybe a H2D. The uh, the 3D printer is stationed on my miter station, the cross and miter station, patent pending. And my miter station is also used as a display within my shop. So when I have clients come over and we're talking about different materials and different things, I should bring them to the miter station so that they know, you know, for example, what cherry looks like, different types of handles, different types of draw slides, right? So this one is soft close, but this one is not, so that they can get a feel for if they actually like that. The functionality of this miter station is incredible. And if you copy it, give me a shout out. Let me know, right? I'm cool with that. I don't care, but at least give me some credit. The miter saw that I use is the Festool Capex. I'm a huge Festool fanboy. One of the major reasons why I got this particular miter saw, besides its accuracy, is its low profile. The fact that it rides on these rails means it can be butted up right against the wall here for the most part. Yeah, this thing is pricey, but for me, worth every penny. My measuring and marking equipment, all of this is from a company called Woodpeckers. Woodpeckers makes by far the nicest and most accurate equipment within your shop. I've had a few people ask me like, what's a tool from them that you highly recommend? And honestly, if I was only gonna get one thing from Woodpeckers, it would be this 1281 square. The reason is you want at least one really good square within your shop, because you can use this to check to make sure everything else is accurate. You want to make sure your table saw is dialed in square, your miter saw is dialed in square, your cuts are square, all those things. Having one really good reference square, it's worth its weight in gold. It will make everything easier if you know that your cuts are coming out square. Actually, some of these holders for some of this equipment was 3D printed using the Bamboo Labs P1S. That thing comes in super handy within a workshop, besides jigs and fixtures and all that stuff. The last two things that I have on this miter station is my Tormek, and I have a router plate built within here. There is a removable fence that I just keep on the side, but I really only use this router table for like flush trim cutting and or roundovers, so I'm typically not using the fence for that stuff because I have another router table within my shop. So when I need to really do it, I use that stuff. On this side of my shop, I keep all of my fancy hand tools, my Festool collection of tools. Festool is a maker of tools that if you're a tool collector, you've definitely heard of them. It can be pricey, but they make the nicest tools on the market. If you disagree, leave it in the comments, but I have not found a better tool than the ones made by Festool. For my hand tools and hand planes, it's one of two companies. So when I first started getting some hand planes, some nice ones for me, I went with some Wood River planes, and these are just from Woodcraft. You can just walk into any Woodcraft and buy them. It's their brand. I still love them. I use them all the time. If you watch my content, you'll see me reaching for these a lot. But as I started making profit from woodworking and selling jobs in large, 10-foot dining tables, I've slowly started to upgrade into Lee Nielsen tools, because here's the thing that I say when you're buying expensive hand tools specifically. What you buy is the ability to know that the tool is perfect. You can buy a less expensive hand tool and you'll have to, flatten the bottom, sharpen the blade, make sure everything is set up correctly, skewed and all those things. When you buy a Lee Nielsen hand tool, you know it's perfect out of the box. You can always make it sharper, but you don't have to learn to fix a tool right away. You can learn to use that tool and get the enjoyment of the tool from the moment you purchase it. And with all the tools you end up needing to learn to fix, that's a welcome benefit whenever you can get it. These chisels and handsaws are from a company called Blue Spruce, and all of them have these curly maple handles. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Hopefully it picks it up pretty good. But these are just beautiful. Sometimes tools are so beautiful you don't really want to use them. And I've run into that problem with the Blue Spruce tools. Blue Spruce, amazing. So I said I had two router tables. The other router table that I have is this Woodpecker's router table. And when I need to use a router table, I need to, profile something, run long boards, whatever it might be. I use this router table from Woodpeckers because I know this thing is dead flat. The micro adjust on it is just perfect. I never have to like question if the fence is gonna be in alignment. I can micro adjust the fence, I can do all the things, and it can take all the different size collets. So this is my router table of choice, and I keep all of my bits directly below. One of my favorite bits that they make are these domino profile bits, and these I use to make my own domino tenons, typically out of the leftover material from the project that I'm running. Woodpeckers makes the router bits, Woodpeckers makes the router table. Let's keep moving. I also have a 14-inch bandsaw within my shop, outfitted with these extension tables from both products. And these are the best addition you can make to a bandsaw, because in-feed and out-feed support on any typical bandsaw is absolute garbage. So both products came up with a solution. It works perfectly. It really changes the way that you're able to use your bandsaw. And it also comes with an extended fence that gives you a lot more rougher surface vertically also. It's amazing. Shout out to both products. This wall behind me is my wall of finishing supplies. I mostly use products from a company called Sutherland Wells. There's a promo code in the bottom if you want to try it out and have a discount on it. Their products not only have impressed me, but I've had clients who I finished stuff for in a different finish tell me that when they saw the product that I finished in this, that it was so much better. So I switched over exclusively to using Sutherland Wells finish. It's amazing. You can't, I promise you, if you try it, you'll agree with me. I am a Total Boat fanboy, so all the epoxy that I use is from Total Boat. I just find that it's most consistent, and the last thing I want when I'm doing a river or something expansive in epoxy is like for it to flash cure, or just to have any unforeseen circumstances in an area in which you can't repair it. I find that it's better to buy a quality finish and a quality material. Total Boat is my epoxy of choice. My workbench is currently in use. I'm working on a record cabinet, but as you can see, it's made from solid cherry and sapele. It has H&T Gordon hardware, so the vise that I have on this end is the H&T Gordon vise. I also have their tail vise right here. I milled in 3/4-inch dog holes for registration on my bench. For a long time, social media laughed because I used to use a cheap Craig knockdown workbench as my primary workbench.
Man, you thought I wouldn't notice that bench is wedged up against the wall so it doesn't rack from here to Honer Farms?
And whenever you're using hand tools, you want something that's sturdy and heavy so that it can absorb the force of you using the tool, rather than rocking and giving you skewed results when you're like, hand planing or doing something like that. I made this last year. I still love it. Is there anything I would change? No, I think I'm very happy with it. If I had more space, I would like a bigger workbench. One of my favorite does it count as a hand tool? One of my favorite other tools within my shop is my Shaper Origin. This tool right here is a handheld CNC. Even though I have a huge router table that I've already shown you guys, one of the benefits that I find of the Shaper system is if I need to fix something, for example, on this workbench, if it's already built and I want to put dog holes into it, being able to bring the tool to the machine makes all the difference sometimes. Sometimes you just can't put something on your CNC, and this thing is a game changer. So shout out to the good people at Shaper. Sean, what up, homie? Ooh. This is Sean. Sean is clearly a hater. I don't know how he did it, but it's his fault that this happened in my shop. I will never give Sean a shout out again. I'm glad I got that on camera. There we go. Oh. Put this thing away before it breaks any more of my shop. The last thing I'm going to show you in my shop is the stuff that you've been seeing the whole time, and that is the pegboard that I use within my shop. All of this pegboard is from a company called OmniWall. You'll see I have it all over my shop, every wall, because for me, out of sight is out of mind, and I like to have my tools at hand and ready to use. The OmniWall pegboard clearly holds a whole lot of weight, has all of the different pins, jigs, hooks, pegs, shelves that I need within my shop, and it just looks good. I use my shop to inspire me to build more, and sometimes just being in this place makes me feel like I want to be creative. So shout out to OmniWall. This stuff is amazing. It's all over my shop. It's the best pegboard, clearly. All right, guys, thank you guys for joining me on this shop tour. If you have any questions about any specific tool, piece of equipment, or process, let me know. check out one of my build videos. They'll be linked in the title cards. And catch you guys later. Take it easy. Peace.